On now to this month's interview, and it's with John Wileman. Here you can see his kennel at Tamworth, and there's old Sam we saw at the start of the programme, and there's John with the rest of the training team, daughter Lisa and wife Denise. Of course, John trains Noir Banjo, and we asked him about that dog as well as many others. Okay, John, as an owner trainer, you're restricted to the number of dogs you can have in your kennels on the racing strength. How many did you have on the strength at the moment?
We've got 8 that are fit enough to run at the moment, but to keep a racing strength of 12 you need at least 18 dogs, and we've got a few retired dogs which take kennels up anyway. So.
Right, now of the dogs you have in your kennels at the moment, the 4-bend star is Noir Banjo. Now we saw him last month on the Greyhound Month, running up to Rallying King. No disgrace that, because Rallying King did smash the track record at Perry Bar. How do you rate Noir Banjo among your 4-bend stars?
We rate him very highly, and it was a shock to be beaten so far by Rallying King. He must be a hell of an animal, but Noir Banjo is improving, and he is our best 4-bend dog at the moment.
Tell us about the race he won at Oxford.
I was very pleased with Oxford because he seemed to have learnt from his previous races, and he handled the bumps and the track very well, and he's very determined, very determined. He's showing more middle pace now. He's a little bit fitter and staying on stronger.
And very recently at Sunderland, he was favourite for a final there, but was beaten. What happened?
Well, I don't think he handled the track. He showed no early pace at all as to what he'd been showing before. It was his first time on the McGee, and he missed the break, but he showed real good back straight pace. If he could have got a better run, I think he would have been a lot closer in the final, but he tried to get to the rail when he shouldn't have done, and that's what lost him the race.
So he's lost a bit of his early pace, you think?
I do believe so, yes. Now he's had a hard month this month. It's his last month as a puppy, and we planned it out to run him in a lot of puppy events, and he's had more races than we would normally give a dog, because he's going to have a race after this month. But the more he's raced, the better he's staying, but he's losing a little bit of early.
So would a rest bring back that early, do you think?
Oh yes, definitely. When he comes back fresher, he'll find his early pace again.
And what are the plans for him? Long-term plans?
Long-term plans, we must try him for the Derby. We've got to try him at Wimbledon. He's a very fast dog, and we hope to put him in the Derby and see how it goes.
Now, another dog you've already tried at Wimbledon, but I hear he's on the easy list at the moment. He's almost new. Tell us about him.
He's very fast early. He's a good trapper and tremendous early pace. But we have to be careful with his runs, because he had a slight wrist problem as a youngster, and it does recur, and we cannot really run him too quickly, although we may risk him and try the Derby and take pot luck and nurse his wrist after each round. But he's the fastest dog we've got, up to about 450 metres, I should imagine.
Right. Now, wrist problems are quite in the news at the moment. With Kildare Slippy International, he's been having lots of treatment for his wrist problem. What would you use on a wrist if you're in a competition like the Derby? It's a very hard testing competition. How would you get that wrist back to working order again?
Well, basically ice packing as soon as his run takes any heat and swelling out of the wrist, and we've got an ultrasound machine, but we don't use it a lot. If it doesn't respond to the ice and is showing pain, we just don't run.
So the message is Noir Banjo. Well, we didn't actually ask about Noir Banjo's suitability for Wimbledon. 480 metres Wimbledon, what do you think?
I think it would suit him. I think the track would suit him, and he'll stay the 480 metres strongly.
Right. Another 4-bend dog you got in your kennel at the moment. He came over with a big reputation from Ireland, king size. Tell us about him.
Well, initially we're a little bit disappointed, but he seems to have taken a little bit longer to settle than what they normally do when we have them from Ireland, but he's now pleasing us with every run. He's showing tremendous pace to the 3rd bend, but he's still struggling to get the full trip at Wembley, the 490, he's staying to about 450 and tying up a little bit, but each run he has, he seems to be getting a little bit better, so we're hopeful that he'll keep improving. If he does, he could make a very, very nice dog.
So we'll see him in the Blue Ribbon next month on the Greyhound Month. Before we go on to your 6-bend dogs, tell us about any other 4-benders you might have up your sleeve.
Well, we've had a young puppy come in from Ireland recently. Belongs to my very good friend Jeff Hopkins, who owns Mobile Magic, first name Bart, and he's only had one trial yet. He's very inexperienced, but he showed tremendous pace in his first sprint trial around Nottingham. And he's a nervous dog. If he settles and his nerves let him, he should be a very fast dog, and he's called Spring Exit. And he's by Chief Ironside, not a fashionable sire, but he does seem to have a lot of pace.
And we'll be hearing more from John a little later on, and we'll be finding out what he's doing here on his gallop. Well, when we left John Wileman, he was digging around in some sand, and this is the reason why. He was setting the lure for his gallop, and there is his black dog, Almost New, the one that he was telling us had a slight wrist injury, having a bit of a warm-up run down his gallop, and seemed to enjoy it and walking well at the end as well, isn't he? Almost New, and I know John fancies this one to pick up a few good races in the coming year, assuming his injury holds up. There's Almost New being collected by my wife Denise. And what's he got there? Looks like the back end of a sheepskin coat or something. Seems very happy with himself there, doesn't he? Anyway, back inside now with John, and we'll continue the interview, and we're talking to him about his 6-bend stars now, most notably Mobile Magic and first name Bart.
Yeah, that's right. They've been a tremendous pair for us. They kennel together, they travel together to the competitions, and they've reached 3 big finals together: the Regency, the Crayford Golden Jacket, and the Coronation Cup. But first name Bart, he did us proud that night. He ran a super race to come and catch New Generation from behind, and we didn't really know which one would do the best on the night, but Bart got the run and Mobile didn't. There's not a lot between them. I think probably Bart's just got the edge up to 600, then Mobile is the better bitch over the longer distances. But
Bart not expected to stay 8 bends?
No, we did think about trying him this year. He's a stronger dog. We thought about trying him for a TV, but we took him to Sheffield over 7:30, and he led for 7:29 and got caught by Kilpipe BB. But after the line, he didn't seem to go strongly to the pickup, so we've decided against him for the TV trophy. We'll keep him over 6 bends.
Well, I noticed first name Bart almost this time last year, and he seemed to be running totally differently. Well, you just said he didn't stay fully over 6 bends, but he seemed to have a lot more early pace this time last year and didn't stay at all after about 500. Was there a problem then?
Yes, at the time we didn't realise it, but he had a problem. He'd got a bit of floating bone on his hock, and we couldn't find it. We ran him in a lot of races where he was suffering from this problem. He was never lame. He never showed any signs of distress, but his form had tailed off and he wasn't staying, like you say. But we took him to Paddy Sweeney, and he found the injury. He's got a good eye for anything like that, and he picked it up, x-rayed it, and we had 3 months off. He had 2 months in plaster, and he came back a different dog, and he's staying very strongly up to 700, and retained all his early pace as well.
And through your own experience of engineering, you managed to build your own walking machine, I believe.
Yes, it was a bit of a job to get it right, but we built the walking machine, and that's been quite a success. All the dogs love to get on it and spend 20 minutes on it and exercise. They wag their tails and they look forward to it every day. They queue up to jump on.
So tell us how you can actually divide your time between your engineering company, which you own, and your greyhound hobby.
Well, begrudgingly, I have to nip in every day to the engineering company and do a little bit there, but I spend my time with the grounds in the morning, breakfast them all before I go. I'm very lucky to be able to do that and go in to the work when I've finished the dogs. I usually go in about 10 o'clock and then sort out things at work, and if we're open racing then I'll rush back, and we're travelling off about 3 or 4 o'clock to some of the tracks. But I do work hard at the factory, but it's not bad at all because I'm only there short hours. I'd rather not be there, but it's a necessity.
Now, at the very start of the year, I saw a feature about you in the Greyhound Life, talking about you making 50 open race winners this year. How do you think that's going?
Well, we're on schedule. It could change very quickly at this game, as you know, but we're very pleased how things have gone this year, and I think we've had 18 wins so far. So if we keep up at this rate, we've got a chance. But the last 2 years, the form of the dogs has always tailed off in the summer. We don't know why, but we don't seem to have the success we have in the winter months. So we may be heading for another barren spell through the summer, but I hope not.
Well, our best wishes to John, and he's definitely got a strong team this year, and let's hope that his summer hoodoo can let up and he's able to weigh in on a few races this summer.